I want people to feel hope. I think in every musical choice that I make, I want people to feel hope. And I feel like when you think of death, most people think of sadness, but New Orleans is just different. When we are at our worst, we dance. We dance through pain. And I have had to dance a lot. But instead of being bitter about it, let's celebrate it, right? Let's dance in the possibilities of what we can do to change it. And that's what this album is. When you think of New Orleans, there is no rules. It is you choose to move the way you choose to move. And that's in everything that we do. There are no rules as to like the beauty of what New Orleans is. It is all encompassing. So doesn't it make sense that I make an album that doesn't have one set genre? And the message is no matter what you are, how you feel, just dance. Hey, MTV News, this is Dawn Richard, and these are my top 5 things that influenced my new album, Second Line, an electro revival. The first thing that inspired my new album, Second Line, is Blade Runner. The old Blade Runner, like not the newest one, the OG original. I wanted something that felt like the future. I wanted New Orleans to be seen visually in a different way, cinematically, and also sonically be viewed differently. So I immediately started watching Blade Runner and tried to figure out how I can infuse the culture of New Orleans within this Afrofuturistic idea, which is now what you see that I've created. My 2 visuals, Busted For Me and Jacuzzi, some of the things that I can point out that really brought out the Afrofuturist ideas that I wanted was Busted For Me, the choice of the design and structure of our outfits, having structured shoulders. I also wanted all our hair to be the same. I wanted us all visually to look the same, to embody a sense of android, robotic, that everyone is the same being. In Jacuzzi, again, having the girls wear the same hairstyle was imperative, but also to portray sexuality in a way that felt monotonous. And so that was the choice to design the way we look, the way we move, and aesthetically, the way it's shot, to constantly put forth the idea that wearing the same hairstyles within each visual kind of depicts android versus human. My next inspiration for my new album is definitely animation. And the reason why is I have been wanting to put animation within my visuals more than what I originally was doing it with. My first introduction to animation within my music video was the record Tide. That's one of my favorite visuals that I've ever done. And after I did that, I promised myself that when I had the ability to budget, I was going to put forth another animation toward Second Line. And my trailer was just the beginning of what you'll see visually with animation and the story of King Creole. My third inspiration for my album Second Line, and the most important to me, is the city of New Orleans. The city and my mom, and the way in which these titles of the album all exude New Orleans. And I kind of wanted to give a glimpse even deeper than what I did with New Breed. I feel like New Breed is the beginning. It's my golden heart. And I think Second Line and what I'm telling the story here is the Black Heart. So it's feeling like this is going to be a trilogy. But I think New Orleans has become the narrator of a lot of the stories that I want to tell within this time. And so it's my influence for this album, and it is the hub of everything that it's based around. So my mom and dad both play a huge part in the story of both New Breed and Second Line. And how King Creole was created, right? Because I am King Creole, and I kind of wanted people to understand that I didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm a king. Like, there is a backstory to that. My father and his Haitian culture and what the Mardi Gras Indians was told through New Breed. Why I love music the way I do, and why sonically my influence of soul, funk, and R&B is brought to my life. My father's influence. He didn't narrate it in the conventional way I wanted it to be differently. So I narrated it through using his own music as samples from his chocolate milk era. And singing the records that, really told my father's story. He wrote them. With Second Line, my mom speaks. I interview her because we were caught in the pandemic together. And so her narration is told literally through an interview. And what you realize is that the reason I have the passion that I do, the reason why I see the industry, why I've survived this long, is because of these 2 people. And the reason I am an assassin of stereotypes is because I have 2 people who have literally come from completely enriched and beautiful heritages and formed this being of who I am now. And that's why I tell the story in the way I do with my mom and dad. So the fourth inspiration of my new album is scoring. I've loved Hans Zimmer for a very long time, and Johann Johansson. They are two of my favorite composers. And I started to go into listening to film scoring and sound design. And I wanted this album to have a cohesiveness that felt more like a film score and less like just an album. And I've been doing that with a lot of my albums. My albums always run through. This is an album that you listen to not by song. You just press play and you let her run. And what I've learned is when you listen to films and scoring, they have to go through scenes that are completely separate from other things, right? Once you go from a fight to a sensual scene to a car chase, they have to create these seamless patterns within filmmaking to create a seamless, cohesive body of work. And one of my favorite people that have done that is Hans Zimmer. And so I listened to his early work with Inception, and that became the premise to how I was, and the influence to how I was going to go and attack my album. And the final inspiration to my album is Larry Heard. Larry Heard is one of the early incredible DJ producers in house music. And I think I wouldn't be able to be the artist that I was if not for artists like him. And so when I was asked what females, that's a hard one, right? Because we don't have a lot of women that have been put to the precipice to be put up there. Larry Heard is one of the few men, black men, that has been doing this for a very long time, that has created from his culture some of the most beautiful bodies of work in a space like house music. He doesn't get the credit that I think he deserves within that space. When I was originally going into how I wanted to create this album and the risk that I was going to be taking as a black woman to do it, I went and listened to some of Larry's earlier works, and I realized, he was just so ahead. And if I was going to be able to do anything remotely close to what he was able to do, I'd have to do a little homework. And so I was able to look at his trajectory, how he created his albums. It helped me figure out how to put culture into electronic, because he put body of his Chicago into that house sound and then put that within that space. It helped me to put my city on something that wasn't familiar to the world, right? I didn't have a blueprint. There wasn't nobody from New Orleans saying, okay, I'm gonna do some electronic stuff and I'm just go. So I hope that when I finish this, people don't know, nah, Dawn, that's Dawn. That's New Orleans against that sound, that's a Dawn sound, because that's what Larry did. He created a sound for himself. I wanna do the same. I don't care if you don't like my music, but you can respect the intention. And isn't that what you want from any great artist, is the point to feel something, whether it's hate, love, hurt. No piece of art should be moved out into the world unless it has intention. And as black people, because we have been ostracized so much, we have no choice. Because every time we move, we have to be 20 times, we have to do so much more to be seen. It is imperative that when we are seen, we better make a damn impression.